Hi and welcome to my channel. My name is Elizabeth and on this channel I share all of my bike and travel adventures. In this video you join me on my 4th day of my bikepacking trip from the Netherlands all the way to Copenhagen. And today I ride from Hamburg to Lübeck, which is around 75 kilometers. So let's start! And today starts with a breakfast buffet. And because I love breakfast buffets, here a tour. Starting the day with this much food options really makes me happy. Although I must say I tend to eat too much for being on the bike almost directly after. And after enjoying my lovely breakfast, it was time to get my bags. But first look how cool this hostel is. And off I went. Because I heard that Lübeck is a nice town to visit, I had decided to wake up early so that I would have time to explore the city after my ride of the day. The ones who know me a bit and know what is specifically special about Lübeck might guess the second reason why I want to be on time in Lübeck. And unlike the day before, today's ride started sunny. And the route out of Hamburg was as beautiful as a route that had led me into Hamburg. So the day started great. And after a lot of green, at once I found myself beside a really busy car road. But soon I was back in nature. Then I passed Stellau. Hello, today is day 4 of the bike trip to Copenhagen and I stopped in a hostel in Hamburg. I'm now heading to Lübeck, which is around 75 kilometers. I had a good night of sleep in a hostel. So I'm fresh, I had a good breakfast as well and the weather is amazing, so yeah, it's feeling good. Yesterday was a tough day, around 120 kilometers and also just looking for water the whole time and having a lot of pain in my knees and my butt, so it was a rough day. I also got bitten by a wasp, so a lot of things happened, but today is a new day and I'm already enjoying it a lot. I really love today's route so much. Look at all those trees. Biking through all of these landscapes feels even more special because I'm mostly by myself, as there are not many tourists. Then I entered Lübeck, where I saw, besides Hamburg, almost the first people of today. And they were quite a lot at once, a whole class. And back to the silence. Then I came across roadworks, which I also, after a closer look, couldn't pass. The only option here was to get on the car road, which didn't feel safe at all, as there was a turn right away. However, I also saw a hiker going into that direction, so I decided to bike as fast as I could. And when I saw this sign, I noticed that it was indeed the intention for cyclists to bike here, although it felt very strange, but luckily I came out safely. After a while I crossed Schönberg, and after a few houses I left this place again and found myself on some more steep roads, as you can see by the way I bike. And yes, I know you can't see it on camera how steep it is. Then it was time for a small drink and sunscreen break, which is important, of course. And back on the bike, the beautiful route continued. Then I entered Schiphorst, which was a cute little place like the ones I had already passed before on this trip. As the temperature had increased quite a lot, this spot in the shade was really nice for a while. And yep, back into the full sun. Then I approached this really nice place, which was a small supermarket and a spot for the people living in the neighborhood. As it was time for lunch, the timing was perfect. So I decided to buy my lunch here, and the lady in the shop made me a really nice cheese sandwich. And of course, I chose something to drink and something sweet for me as well. After a super relaxed and lovely lunch break, I got back on the bike, and not long after I entered Lübeck. And as almost always, that didn't mean that I was already at my end destination for the day. So I crossed some more nice landscapes and a bridge, and then I again entered Lübeck. Almost there. Only 5.3 kilometers left. Whoop, whoop. Oh, nice. And And after some more very diverse roads, I approached my campsite for the night. Here they told me to find a spot right at the back of the campsite, and so I did. Then it was time to set up my tent. Okay, I will speed up this part a bit. For the ones curious, it takes me around 5 minutes to set up my tent. Then I put all the different layers inside, starting with an insulating blanket. And of course my sleeping mat. My very important light. And my not so comfy pillow. Then I got all my bags from my bike and put them in my tent. And lastly, as my bike got pretty dirty from the previous bike days, I cleaned my bike a bit and oiled my chain after I also cleaned it. Yep, my bike is important to me as I'm doing a bike trip with a bike and it's important. And after I took a shower, it was finally time to visit Lübeck. A bus brought me to the beautiful city center, and already in the first street that I walked through, I couldn't resist it. I went into one of the many shops that sold where Lübeck is so famous for and which I really like. Marzipan. How do you pronounce that?
Marzipan.
Marzipan. So marzipan. That sounds so weird. And yep, I of course took an ice cream with the flavor marzipan, which was lovely. Wandering further through this wonderful center, I encountered, according to the internet, the real deal, which was the shop of the famous marzipan brand Niederegger. And seeing how this shop looks, it is indeed impressive. See for yourself. As everything here looked beautiful and tasteful, I constantly needed to remind myself, as the products weren't that expensive, that I was by bike, so I couldn't buy everything in the store. I ended up still buying quite a lot, but small things, so it would fit in my bags. After checking this highlight off my list, I explored the place a bit more and I really enjoyed wandering here. There were a lot of beautiful buildings and the vibe was really cozy. Then it was time to look for a spot to have dinner. And just as with looking for a lunch spot while biking, I also hesitate a lot about where to have dinner, just like tonight. I ended up at an Asian restaurant called Buddha Bowl and the food here was delicious. I had to wait for a bit for a table, but the waiting was worth it. When I got a spot, a friendly guy asked me if he could sit with me as it was super busy. And he ended up being a really nice dinner company. And then it was time to get back to the campsite. And that was it for today's video. Thank you all for watching. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. Then I'll say see you in the next one. Bye. We're heading to Lübeck.